Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And just when you thought we were done talking about Gina Carano,
Here it comes again.
here it comes again. We're going to talk about Gina Carano being defended by Kiss.
I know, I thought this was great.
By Kiss. Yeah, you know, there have been, and we talked about this the other day, there have been a lot of old rockers coming out and slamming cancel culture. I mean, we have Nick Cave came out. We had Glenn Danzig came out against cancel culture because this is everything that was...
What they stood against. Yeah, they were against. And for years, cancel culture could mostly be attributed to one side or the other. And now it's completely flipped.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about this. Not surprising at all. And I mean, you know, again, the mindset from the 70s and 80s rock was you don't have to necessarily agree with somebody, but people should have a right to express themselves.
That's just it. You know, this whole idea like satanic panic and all that crap. You know, people stood against it because, you know, I get that you don't like it, then it's not for you, fine. But you don't get to tell everybody else what they can and can't like. And you don't, and this whole idea that if you don't vote a certain way, that you don't have no voice at all. It's just insane.
So let's talk about the insanity. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 236,000 subs. Thank you for the support. We've been following the Gina Carano situation. Just when you thought there wasn't anything left to say. Now, there was a development with Lucy Lawless. People were trying to get Lucy Lawless hired as Cara Dune.
Yeah. It turned out she was up for a different role.
She was up for a different
role.
role.
And I don't think she was very happy because I guess that them, you know, pushing for her, it kind of, I guess, made it a little more difficult for her for this other role. I don't really know all the details, but, you know, she basically wasn't too happy about it.
Yeah, she said it basically made the conversation political. Now, she is a complete 180 from Gina Carano, as I understand it, in politics. But,
so she would be okay. That's acceptable.
Well, that's just it, yeah. But the thing is she's like, yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for dragging me into this conversation. I might have lost my other role in Star Wars because of it.
You know what? She might not agree with everything I agree with and everything else, and that's fine. I still like Xena.
Yeah.
And I would have had no problem with her coming back and doing Xena again, even if I don't 100% agree with her politically.
There you go.
And I don't agree with Gina Carano 100% politically either. Because, you know, if you want somebody to agree with you 100% of everything, just look in a mirror. That's the only way you're going to find it.
Unless you have a split personality, then you might.
Well, they might. That doesn't mean they'll agree. I'm serious. And now here's the thing, you know, like you and I are married, and we don't always agree on everything.
Yes, we do.
There's a lot of things we don't.
You shut your mouth. You just nod your head and say yes, sir. No, I'm getting that look. I'm getting that look. That's shut your mouth. I know my place. I know my place. We're gonna.
No,
talk.
We don't always agree.
No, we don't.
And we have different opinions sometimes, and that's fine. It's okay. We're still married. I still love him. He still loves me. We don't always have to agree.
No.
And this whole idea that if you don't agree with everything that somebody else agrees with, you should be canceled is just absolutely dangerous and beyond.
Dangerous and beyond. So let's talk about Kiss, because Kiss was on the receiving end of the satanic panic.
I know, that's what I was thinking about. Yeah.
Alice Cooper, who's an old man who plays golf now, he was another one that came out against cancel culture not too long ago. And again, it's that generation. These guys were anti-establishment, anti-authoritarian, and now they're like, this is ridiculous.
Because it is ridiculous.
It's we've talked about this in regards to in relation to Dungeons and Dragons too, where it used to be the extreme far right evangelical voices were the ones trying to censor rock and roll and censor Dungeons and Dragons and all that. And now we flip-flopped, and now it is coming from the quote unquote liberals who aren't.
It's always extremists.
Very liberal anymore.
I mean, it's always down to extremism. But, you know, this whole idea that just because somebody might vote differently than you means they should be wiped off, you know, have their job taken away and be wiped out of existence. It's absolutely ridiculous. And, you know, there's a lot of people coming out. So anyway, let's look at the story, because we keep saying the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, well, it feels like we're on a broken record.
I know,
now,
I feel like
it's always
that.
The same thing over and over again.
It is.
Hat tip to Mr. Milo on Pirates and Princesses for posting this. Talking about the cancellation of Gina Carano from The Mandalorian, but there is a Star Wars themed YouTube channel called the Bombodcast. They went to a VIP Q&A in Austin, Texas for Kiss. The Q&A session was with Kiss. A member of this podcast, Scotty Jero, asked a question that seemed kind of random, but definitely had an interesting answer. He said, He knew Gene Simmons really liked The Mandalorian. He asked Gene his opinions on season 2, and Gene gave an interesting response. They should have kept the chick, Gina Carano, even though she had different political points of view. It's not about politics. It's whether you're a good actress.
As it should be.
After being asked about how Star Wars and Kiss both became popular, Paul Stanley chimed in and said, "This whole cancel culture is dangerous. The idea that people can't speak their mind, that's what freedom is all about. To lose your job because of something you said, even if I find it offensive, you got to look at that. Plus, she'd kick my ass," referring to Gina Carano.
There's a lot of people shoot her ass and she'd probably get kicked. And that's the problem. It's just like, because some people on Twitter didn't like something. And what got me was, it wasn't the double standard. The double standard got me because you had Pedro Pascal saying things that were, she said something about the Holocaust that was terrible. Meanwhile, Pedro Pascal was making very similar comments, but on the other political side. And one side's okay, one side's the other. I'm just like, if you're going to have these, you can't use the Holocaust, or you can't say certain political things. It should be across the board. Everybody should have to adhere to the same rules. And I don't think it's fair. I don't always agree with Gina Carano. Sometimes I think she takes it too far. I'm not going to lie. I do. However, I think she was fantastic as Cara Dune. I loved Cara Dune. I remember when the media was like, Cara Dune's the best, and all you man baby losers hate her, until they found out she wouldn't put pronouns in her bio, and then she was the devil.
Even though
I'm like,
most of Lucasfilm's employees don't
have pronouns.
Yeah.
Which was one of the first things I noticed. I'm like, they don't have pronouns. Why aren't they fired? This whole thing is just ridiculous, and we keep seeing it over and over again. But the double standard that's what I have a problem with. And it wasn't just us. Forbes called it out too.
Yeah, it's again, if it were evenly handled, and if the studios would come out and be like, look, both sides of the aisle, could you tone down the political stuff? Because regardless of what you say, regardless of who you are, you're gonna piss off the other side just by getting overly political. Could you just, promote your movie? Say nice things. Share a kitten meme or something. Like, something like, look, I'm not saying that people should be allowed to have their opinions, but, when you have a platform that large, and the company, the studios, depending on you to make them money, you got to kind of keep it in check, because everything you say can and will be used against you, will be used to lose money for the studio.
Well, what gets me is because somebody says something a certain way, whether it's true or not, it triggers Twitter and sends a mob after people.
Yeah.
Like we saw the same thing with Rosario Dawson, because somebody accused her and her family of something, which they were later proven, it was dropped. They said that wasn't what happened. The courts dropped it. The lawyer for the person making the accusations, wouldn't be their lawyer anymore, which usually isn't a good sign. There's a lot of other things. They were trying to campaign to get Rosario Dawson kicked off of Star Wars too. At the same time, they were campaigning for Gina Carano. I was on videos that were about Marvel, or YouTube posts or Twitter posts. About Marvel, had nothing to do with Star Wars at all, and they were on there. Get rid of Gina Carano. Get rid of Rosario Dawson. And it's like, because they had heard that so-and-so said.
It's probably just a bunch of pissy 14-year-olds, stan culture again. Because grown-ass adults who have jobs and responsibilities, they're not going to be spending all their time, dogpiling.
But that's what happens, because so-and-so said. That makes it true.
Yeah.
We've had stuff said about us. Somehow the seamstress for Disney and all this shit that never happened.
I'm like, what?
That never happened. But because they said it was true, well, that must be true. It's not true.
People had this thread about us on this one forum, and like half the information was wrong.
Yeah, at least, if not more.
I was like, what are you talking about?
And then I get messages on Twitter because, we know you hate this kind of person because so-and-so. I'm like, I never said that. Or they'll make comments because, you said this. Like, no, I didn't. Do you watch what I say? Because that's not what I said. Because so-and-so told them. And that's what I think happened here. So-and-so said that Rosario Dawson did this, and so-and-so said Gina Carano because of this. And what I love is the people that are for diversity and inclusion, and the ones who are, anti-bullying and all this shit that they spout off. As soon as someone does something they don't like with Gina Carano with her not putting her pronouns in the bio, we saw it with Zoe Saldana, to the same thing.
Yeah.
Is as soon as they said something they didn't like, they start calling them slang. It was like horrible, derogatory, misogynistic terms. They kept labeling them istophobic. They kept, the most hateful, bullying, disgusting speech at these women because they didn't do what they wanted. And I'm like, in the name of justice, equality, and everything else. I'm like, That is the antithesis. And the things they were saying are what they basically accuse everybody else of saying when they aren't saying it, when they themselves are the ones saying it. Who's trash here? You don't have to agree with Gina Carano. You don't have to agree with, Rosanna Dawson. You don't have to agree with anybody. But that doesn't mean that they deserve to lose their job because they vote differently than you.
It's like, are they hurting you personally?
I don't agree with Lucy Lawless. Still think she's a great Xena, and I'd still watch her in shows because that's irrelevant.
Yeah. Apparently, her and Kevin Sorbo were spatting on Twitter. Like,
watch Kevin Sorbo.
If you're gonna have a conversation like that, don't do it on Twitter. Like, sit down, go out to eat, especially if it was a.
We can't now because everybody's not out of their house.
Yeah,
half the
right.
time. Especially in LA.
We'll have a Zoom chat or something.
Right.
Keep it back channel. Don't air your political discussions. And I think that's the difference. I think people have always had differing opinions, but we weren't privy to those opinions, and now it's like everybody has ESP.
It's all polarized.
Yeah, everybody has ESP. You know what people are thinking all the time.
Well, right. Oh, because of they just post it. That's because they post it. Don't shut up. But it's like, even if you don't agree with somebody on one thing, you might agree with them on another. And this whole idea of vilifying someone over something so stupid, I can't even. And it's not about some moral high ground bullshit, because somebody who legitimately feels that, they needed this, and this, and this, isn't going to turn around and be the embodiment of everything they say they hate as soon as you don't voice the opinion they like. Calling people slang terms and horrible names and acting like complete trash they claim they're against. That just shows who you really are. And you're trash too. So I'm just tired of it. You know what? Grow the fuck up.
We gotta get you this shirt. Coordinator of the entire shit show.
Yeah, I'm trying. There's not toilet paper to wipe this up.
All right, so we gotta wrap this one up.
Yep.
All right, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.